Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back, and we're here to bring you guys more Midnight Madness. Tonight is episode 18. We already went over what happened on Twitter today during our last show just a couple of hours ago. So the formalities are up on the screen. I'm not going to go back and run over them. Let's just go ahead and get started, man. I am 49ers Mike _NFL, and my host for tonight is going to be Brian B. How you feeling, bro?
Great. Feeling better every day with this back injury. So, every day that I get better is good. Aloha to the fans.
All right. I like it. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to start with a question that was written hours ago, but then it's not up on the screen anymore. So we retyped it, and let's do this.
All right. You want me to read this one?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Niners Rick 49 asked us, what up, guys? Love these shows. Name the brothers tandem that played for the 49ers in the 80s without looking it up. And
let me go first here.
Okay.
I was born in 83, guys. These questions aren't fair to me, especially if I can't look it up. I'm telling you now, I don't know. I have no idea who the brothers were. And then brothers was in quotes. So I'm assuming he's just talking about two black guys. Like I don't know what this means. I have no idea. He didn't give us a position or anything. Brian, do you have any kind of clue as to what he's talking about?
Not without looking it up, man. And to be honest, I went ahead and did just that, so I'd have an idea of what we were supposed to be talking about. I'm not gonna BS anybody here. So I did find a pair of brothers that were in the 49ers in the 80s. The last name is Fonhorst, Keith and Jim. They're like 7 years apart. There's a whole story to that if you go look it up on the internet. But it's interesting. I did not know those guys' names off the top of my head.
Did they play?
What's that?
What positions did they play?
Oh,
damn, I'm sorry. I didn't want to put
offensive line, I think, and
you
I don't remember
piqued my interest. You piqued my interest. You said there was a whole story behind this. I was like, oh, I want to know, but that's all right. We won't get into it, I guess. But that's interesting. Right. So now I'm gonna. You said Frank. What was the word? What was the name?
It's Fahnhorst. Keith and Jim.
Fonhurst.
Yeah, Horst, whatever. Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. Thanks for the. That's a nice little interesting tidbit for the 49ers.
Right. That's a great question. For history's sake.
Mm-hmm. Danny Albright chimes in, a regular here. Thank you, Danny. He says in 2017 NFL draft, Saints wanted Reuben Foster, but 49ers traded up to get him, and the Saints drafted Ryan Ramczyk, 32nd overall. Highest paid right tackle. What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead.
I think what the Niners did was fantastic. There were people who thought Reuben Foster would go in the top 10. People thought that the Niners would take him. We had the second overall pick. There were people who were pegging us to take him there had we not traded back. And so the fact that they got someone else and still got him, I thought was fantastic. And I like the fact that you had to make the Saints change it up and do a little bit something different. And when I watched Ramczyk against the 49ers, he's a non-factor. I've seen Azeez Al-Shaair beat him already off the edge, and that's a linebacker. That's not even a lineman. So, good for them. I'm happy for his salary. Good for him and his family. But I think the Niners did the right thing.
Yeah, in hindsight, you know what they say. So, at the time, taking Reuben at that position is the best thing that we could have done. I don't think that they could have foreseen, how Ryan Ramczyk has turned out. When you equate those two players together and the potential for them to impact the team, I think that Reuben Foster was the right pick at that time. We had no idea that he was going to have, the issues, that he had while he was with the team.
Yeah, a lot of people like to look backwards and say, I told you shouldn't have done that. But he was an electric player. He brought an energy to the team.
Yeah.
You could see it from the moment he stepped on the field. So I don't knock the pick. And it just didn't work out. That's all. I can't fault him for that. All right, B, this one's for you. Actually, I'll read this one to you since I'm at the beginning of it. I think for me, it's always weird when I have to read my name to myself. I'm curious. So if it starts with your name, I'll read it, and then we'll just switch the alternation.
Can you give me a little bit more volume?
All right. How's that? Better?
Yeah, you're loud and clear now.
It says, Brian, a few episodes ago, you said you believe J.J. Stokes is underrated. How so? I've always felt he was a huge bust, high first round pick. That I think he believes at best was a third wide receiver. Plus, we traded up for JJ. So before you answer this, I just want to put it out there. Again, me being young and dumb, I had no idea that he was a high first round pick. I always felt that JJ Stokes was a capable role player. I remember playing this game on PlayStation, regular PlayStation, called Game Day, and JJ Stokes was a monster in that game. And that was in the 90s, I believe, late 90s. So I don't know any much else about him. So what do you have on it, Jake?
Let's start off with, you can take these shows for what they are, but I mean, we're doing zero planning and we're getting questions shooting off the hip. So I'm just, answering it. I also didn't realize he was a top 10 pick or that we traded up for him. But when I looked at, thinking about like the numbers that he produced, it seemed like a very, with him and Rice, or him and T.O., depending on the timelines when you look at it, he seemed like a capable backup, and I felt like he was overshadowed by the players that he played with, and that's kind of why I said that. But it wasn't just him. I also talked about Garrison Hurst as well, and so can't take it all like 100% factual. It was just me throwing names out there because we got asked who we thought I think it was post Steve Young, who was the most underrated player, and we just have to kind of roll with the punches of what you guys threw out there. So those are the two names I threw out. And that's why I said I threw his name out there, because he was kind of in the shadow of two elite receivers on this team. And when you go and you actually look up statistics, you can see that he was the two. He was the number 2 on the roster during the time that he was here. Whether it was behind Jerry at the end or T.O. in the beginning of his career, but he was always the back in the shadows.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at it, and then you went from them to, I believe, Arnez Battle was a guy that played there. Because I remember the Beasley, Hurst, Stokes battle. I mean, I just, I don't know what else you want from that time frame. So, but it is hard. Again, it's kind of like what we talked about with John Taylor. It's you're in really, really big shadows there. So, I get it. But I had no idea he was drafted the way he was. And that does change your opinion on bust or underrated. Because if either of us had known he was picked the way he was, then we wouldn't have called him underrated. Right. Because the expectations become higher based off of where a player is drafted.
Absolutely.
So that's my fault, our fault for not having that information. Right.
I mean, you're talking about 75 years of players on this roster. I mean, it's not impossible, but I don't have the time to memorize everything about everyone. And I wish I had that time, but I don't.
Who's really good at stuff like that? It's Tony. Yeah. That's why we call him the GM of the team.
Right. It just sticks in his brain.
And he spits it out like it's water, bro. Like it just comes out. All right, let's keep it moving. This one's on you.
So always faithful 24/7. Let's go 49ers says, and who do you think was better?
Wait. My bad. I skipped it. It was supposed to be this one first.
Okay, guys, you've talked about Rice getting helped out by Taylor, but what do you think, or what did you think about the time with J.J. Stokes and T.O.? Kind of the same. That's what I was kind of alluding to. He was kind of overshadowed a bit. I don't know if Mooch just didn't use him as much or used him correctly or whatever, but he was definitely overshadowed by T.O.'s abilities, and, now that we've learned that he was a 10th and you look at T.O., I think he was a third rounder, right? Wasn't T.O. in the third round or something like that? I mean,
he was later than his career would have suggested for sure.
Right. You would have expected that they would have played differently depth-wise on this roster, but that's not how it panned out because T.O. was superior.
Absolutely. And then he follows it up with, and who do you think was better at running our offense, Fangio or Shanahan? And I was confused because Fangio was our defensive coordinator.
Right.
Now, when Fangio left and went to Denver, what offense? Let me see who Fangio's offensive coordinator was, because I don't think it was the same. I don't think it was a Shanahan style offense. Fangio. Let me see here. Hold on. I'm going to pull this up on the fly, so you guys have to bear with me. He went to the Broncos in 2019. And who did he have as offensive coordinator? So let me look up Broncos 2019. I mean, either way, the offense was run better by Shanahan.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably don't need to go into this kind of depth for it, but here we go. Head coach was Vic Fangio. Offensive coordinator was Rich Gangarello. I'm gonna say, and that's not the same offense.
Rich Gangarello?
Yeah, never mind. Because Rich Gangarello, he was here. Rich Gangarello was with the 49ers with Shanahan. So I'm going to say that we ran it better, because if he was that good, he wouldn't have left the following year and went to Philly. So I'm going to say Shanahan ran it much better.
And I will agree with that.
All right. Here you go. And my name's in here, so it makes sense that you read it. Oh, damn, yours is in here too.
Mine's in there too. Yep. Who are the 49ers' 5 most important players on defense? Mike, what are your go-to wings on game day? And Brian, what is your go-to meal on game day? So start at the top, I guess.
All right. So I got a little cheat here. I had some time to come up with this because I answered this earlier today during one of the lives. So to me, my 5 most important players on defense are going to be Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Jimmy Ward, Fred Warner, and I got Bosa, Armstead, Warner, and Jason Verrett.
There you go.
Jason Verrett. Those are my 5. And believe it or not, only one of those guys made this because of production, and that's Nick Bosa. Everybody else, I think, is a leader and a communicator, more of a teacher on the field and in the training, in the study rooms and things like that. Nick Bosa, I'm not saying he's not a teacher or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that his production makes him one of the most important players on the team. So I just want to be clear here.
Yeah, and I'm in agreement with you. I might waffle a bit with Armstead. I understand like the thought process of him being a vocal piece for this unit and making sure that people are where they are, because he's the longest tenured guy. And so I'm kind of on the fence between actually 3 of them, because I really think that Kinlaw is going to have a monster year, but I don't want to take anything away from the stops that Greenlaw has brought to this team. So I would say for me personally, I would put Greenlaw over Armstead just because of his abilities, what he's shown on the field.
And I actually had to explain why I said Armstead is because of his value at edge and defensive tackle, and how he can help people learn to be in the right position and what to look for because of his mind in both of those situations. So that's exactly why I did it. There's more to answer here. My go-to wings on game day. So bone in, I have fallen in love with this. It's called Hot Honey. It's like buffalo with honey.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a flavor that I discovered just this past season. And right now that's the itch I can't scratch enough.
So that's like a heat with sweet.
But the honey is so okay. Did I tell you I tasted honey for the first time not too long ago?
No.
Okay. So I've always had honey flavored tea and cough drops and stuff like that. So I'm familiar with the honey flavor.
Yeah.
Okay. But my dog has really bad allergies, and we were talking to a bunch of people about home remedies, and I buy these really expensive, $200-something a month on his allergy pills because of his weight, how many he has to get per day and stuff like that. And they're over $2.50 a pill. So I pay all this money for this stuff. And I was talking to people, and they said, if you can find local honey from the area that you live in, put a little bit of it in the dog food. And if you're a person with bad allergies, it works for you also. In a cup of tea, what you're doing is, because the bees pollinate in the local area, you're getting all of the stuff that you're allergic to, and you're building up an immunity or a resistance or whatever towards it. So I did that for the dog. And when you pour honey, it just strings. So when I went to stop it, I kind of did the scoop thing, and there was a little bit on the edge. And for the first time in my life, I actually wiped it, and I looked at it. I was like, I'm going to wash this off. I was like, it's just honey. I'm going to actually taste it. My first time in my entire life ever tasting just straight honey. I did it, and it's not as sweet as I thought it was. Nope. There's so many of these, like you see like the artificial flavors and the syrups, and they're just extremely sweet. And I always thought that's what honey tasted like. and I was wrong. So it's not super sweet. It does give it a nice little glaze sweetness to it, but it's not really sweet. So it's a pleasant surprise. I like it.
Yeah, if you get the chance, when you can use, like at a farmer's market, you can usually get like the actual honeycomb, and you can just eat that.
I don't know if I'm brave enough to do that yet because I've seen some honeycombs. They still got the little sacks in there from the beehives, like inside
protein.
I almost said something really inappropriate, and I'm going to blame it on this. However, I haven't had enough of this to say it, so that's pretty cool that I curbed myself.
Yeah, all right, you stop yourself.
Yeah. So, what's your go-to meal on game day?
Like I said, I think I talked about it a couple of shows ago, actually 2 shows ago, I think. But anyway, I don't really have a go-to meal. I tend to get a little amped and nervous when it's game time. But more often than not, it'll be like nachos or something like that. Just something super easy. I can throw a bag of, warm up some melted cheese and then, or melt some Velveeta or something like that. And then just take some chips and, I can sit there and just pick at it while the game's going on.
All right. I like that. We're going to phone a friend for the next question. I believe it's on me to read it. So let me get the banner. Let me get the comment off of the screen first before I do that. And boom, that's that. All right, so this one is Led Zeppelin or The Who. And I'm just going to say Led Zeppelin, but only because I'm not familiar with both of the catalogs in enough depth to give you a true answer. I feel like Brian's going to knock this out the park, though.
I myself am a huge Led Zeppelin fan. When I was younger, I just couldn't get into the Who. I mean, I watched like Tommy and the Pinball Wizard and all the crazy stuff that the Who. I'll take nothing from them. Their movement within the Euro movement or whatever. When you look at all the English bands with the Rolling Stones and the Who and Led Zeppelin and their effects on music overall is just amazing. The amount of impact that the Who had on other musicians that came after them is ridiculous. But I think the catalog for me of Led Zeppelin is just more, I don't want to say dynamic. It was a bigger scope. It seemed like, you can listen to, if you watch CSI, any of them, the opening song because Jerry Bruckheimer apparently was a huge Who fan. So like all those songs are all from the Who. But I personally would prefer to listen to Stairway or, the Levees or something like that, something other, I just like the music that Zeppelin put out. I like their thought process. They got songs that go back, Fire and Ice. They're talking about Lord of the Rings and weird stuff like that in their songs that people wouldn't pick out unless you sit down and listen to it.
Yeah. That's good stuff right there. That's good stuff. So yeah, like I said, I knew you would knock that out the park. DJ Malone with the food questions. He's always trying to candy something or fry something. All right, but here we go. Oh wait, this is on you.
Okay, DJ Malone. All right. Would candied pineapple and coconut flavored ice cream pair well together? Who are your guys' top 5 wide receivers list for the 49ers? Favorite G.I. Joe character? And are you guys hoping Rodgers opts out? So I can take this. I've had candied pineapple and coconut ice cream when I was in Hawaii. It's not bad. I mean, it's not something I would go after time and time again. I prefer macadamia nut ice cream if I'm going to do something like that. Just because I like the crunchy texture of the macadamia nuts versus the chewiness of the pineapple. If you can get, when you go to Hawaii, if you can get pineapple straight from the plantation, it's amazing. It's not like what you get in the States. And I don't know if you want to address the 5 receivers. I mean, we've talked about our rosters.
Yeah. I believe he's saying for the 49ers all time.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what he's saying here. So the pineapple and coconut thing, I think if you're Hispanic, you would love that. And I'm not trying to be rude, but all of my Hispanic friends love pineapple and they love coconut. I think the combination together probably would be phenomenal for them. Personally, I'm not big on coconut. I don't mind pineapple on certain things, but coconut I don't really care for, except for the frozen ices, the white ones. Apparently they're coconut flavored. They taste nothing like coconut to me, but they are really good. The white ices are my favorite ones next to the pink ones and then the blue ones. So, all right. So that's that. If I had to come up with the top 5 wide receivers for the Niners, I'm assuming he means all time. You're going to go Jerry Rice. I'm going to go Taylor. I'm going to go T.O. I'm sorry. I don't know if you want them in order. I'm not going to do them in order because
I'm listening. I'm seeing if I disagree. So far, you nailed mine.
I think T.O. would be second if we had to put them in order, but I'm not doing that. Fourth, 49ers wide receivers. Do they have to play their entire career here?
No, I'm thinking anybody who was a 49er. I mean, like Bolden.
Brandon Lloyd. I'm going to do Brandon Lloyd and actually Anquan Bolden. Yeah, those are my last two.
Yeah, I'm going to say I definitely go with Bolden. But I think I'm going to go with Ayuk. I think he's going to be one of my top guys. I'm just hoping forward that he has the career that I expect him to have.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Favorite G.I. Joe characters? I'm going to go with Snake Eyes right now just because he's the guy getting his own spinoff and everything. I'm gonna go with him for now. I like the silent assassin. Someone asked a question about Vegeta or your favorite Dragon Ball Z characters, and I said it. Vegeta and Piccolo are just all about action. I don't want to talk. I just want to fight. That's right. What I'm here for. That's what I'm good at. I'm not trying to, you want to talk, go be a politician. And I kind of feel the same way about Snake Eyes. I know about his vow of silence and stuff like that, but I'm gonna stick with that. Who's your favorite G.I. Joe character?
So, I mean, G.I. Joes were huge. Like 1985 was like the year of G.I. Joe for me. And it was just, I always had three favorites. If I was going to go out and play with my friends, those guys would always come with me to go, whatever. So Snake Eyes was one of them. Shipwreck was the other. And he is by far my favorite, Shipwreck, just because of his attitude on the cartoon and the fact that later I became in the Navy and all those kind of things. But my third one was Footloose because he reminded me of Missing in Action movies with Chuck Norris. And so those were my three guys that I had with me. But Shipwreck was by far my most favorite. Oh, go ahead.
No, you got the Rogers thing. Go ahead.
So are we hoping that Rogers opts out? I don't necessarily hope that Rogers opts out. But I think that that's what's going to happen because I think he's going to stand by. I think that at this juncture, if he decides to come back and play, it's going to say a lot about his fortitude on whether or not he is willing to. My son just came out here.
Hello. Hold on. Wait. Let me blow you up. Hold on. Solo.
And these are like the original 85s. You can't see it because of the green screen.
All right.
So this is like Snake Eyes and Shipwreck and Footloose. Yep. So my son still plays. Those are the guys that still got the rubber bands inside of them.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, my mom saved all that stuff when I went to the Navy, and then she gave it back to me, and I handed it down to the kids. But I expect that Rogers won't be back. I think part of it because he doesn't want to be like the guy who said he was going to do something and then doesn't follow through. I think there's plenty of opportunities out there for him to make money. So losing money off his contract's not going to be something that precludes him from coming back. But I won't say that I'm hoping because I like the NFL to be competitive. And if you're going to go up against a team, you need to go up against the best team that's available. And Rodgers with the Green Bay Packers is far superior to Jordan and the Green Bay Packers as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I'm gonna say no. I do not hope he opts out. Now I'm saying that as the last part of your answer. You want to go up against the best teams possible. I always think back to that the 2019 season, right? And the Niners started 3-0, but that third game was the home game against the Steelers. And I'm going to say something that I probably shouldn't say. And I don't know if the game would have been the same way. But if Ben Roethlisberger was healthy that game, we get destroyed with the turnovers that we had on offense.
Right.
We get completely annihilated. And those moments, although they would be bad, we probably would have ended up losing. They can help a team or destroy a team. And it would have shown us a better idea and picture of what this team actually is. So you don't go forward with false impressions of teams, and then of your roster. We showed a lot of gut and fortitude to overcome that game.
Right.
But, going into week 3, again, our first home game this year, you want to be going up against the 13-3 Packers from last season and see what your team can do against them because you want the true measuring stick.
Right.
Here we are. If we go out there and Rodgers is in there and we stomp those guys like we did the last 2 times we played them fully healthy, then it's like, hey, we're a legit team and the NFL is on watch. Plus, a game like that could do a lot for either Jimmy and his confidence going forward, or Trey. I don't know who's going to be in there, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that does a lot for whoever that quarterback is going to be at that time if they have to outduel that Packers offense with Aaron Rodgers under center.
Right.
So, you know, I think it has more weight if Aaron Rodgers is in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
All right. We're going to go back to by the way, these questions that come up like this are all from Nick Cork. It's really early where he is. I believe it's like 5 a.m., so he's not watching these live. And he asks our all-time favorite 49er.
And I've answered this several times, but Jerry Rice is my all-time favorite 49er.
Bryant Young is my all-time favorite 49er. All right. Let's see here. Let's get back. The next question is something about Gold Bar whiskey. There we go. Has Gold Bar sent the crew bottles for the first game yet? They have not sent them out yet. I can tell you guys that now, but they are coming. We are partnered with Gold Bar. They love our show. They love what we do on Instagram. They love what we do on YouTube, and they will be sending them out. Brian, have you got the bottles of Gold Bar yet?
No, I was writing. When I was writing, it was after you guys have already did the agreement.
Okay, I don't know if you're a whiskey guy, but you'll be getting some this season.
I'll shoot shots with you guys.
Hell yeah. We did a jersey giveaway following the draft. They had a big thing going on there for the draft and all, and they did a Trey Lance jersey giveaway and all on Instagram. So they run competitions. If you guys are not following us on Instagram, you have to get over there. There is different content over there. I promise you guys that. All right. Let's keep it moving here. He said, I meant brothers in the family, linebacker and O-line. He all right. I like that. Here's a question. You want to read this one?
Sure. Snacks. What happened to Nick? Haven't seen him in a while. So we've discussed Nick. He's on a crazy work schedule right now for what he's doing. He's got to get up really early in the morning for one job, and he's actually working 2 separate jobs. And then he's not getting off until late for the second job. So right now it's basically, we're holding down the fort until, everybody can get back together, but it's summertime and people are working.
Absolutely. Getting off of one job at 11 and having to be up at 4 for the next one. I mean, you're not giving yourself much sleep there. So, but Nick will be back. I did actually talk to him today. He's doing well. And he sends his regards to the faithful out there. And we have one more. Boom. And this one is also from Nick. It says Public Enemy or NWA.
I absolutely hate this question.
Yes.
I love Public Enemy, but NWA is such a pivotal moment. Yeah, whatever. Pivot moment in music history with how they, came out and did their thing, and they pulled no punches. They were going to do it whether the districts or cities that they were going to wanted them there or not, and they were just going to do their thing. And so that's really hard for me because I really love Public Enemy, but I'm going to go with NWA on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with NWA because of the movement, their music and all, and both of them were movements. Don't get me wrong, but NWA was a rap defining.
It was like a huge turning point, It was like
yes, yeah.
That's the things that we could get away with putting on a compact disc or a cassette changed. I know that we've had people or artists go out and do similar type things, but not like that, So to me, yeah, it's got to be
turning point. You're absolutely right. That was the major turning point. Very good, very good. Terrell Cox asked, "Do you guys ever listen to Haberman Middle Cough? And if so, and if y'all do, think there'll be a chance for y'all to do a collaboration?" I have heard some of their stuff, and okay. Moment of honesty, and we're almost at half an hour, so this is probably gonna be the last one. They have such a cult following that it almost turns me off to listen to them. I know that if one of them say something on that show, people think it's biblical, and it turns my stomach to follow someone that blindly. It's okay to support a show blindly, right? But you don't have to agree with every single take. And they have so many people that do that, it kind of turns me off from them. It's no fault of their own. They're really good at what they do. But yes, there is a possibility for us to collab. And I'll do this one next, and then we'll get out of here. Guys, who did Roger Craig get drafted to block for? You remember he was fullback / running back.
Off the top of my head, I can't tell you.
Oh man, I don't know either. But we're not leaving here without an answer. So.
I'm gonna go find the answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up here. So Roger Craig was drafted in 1980. 80. Where'd it go? Hold on. All right, here we go. Roger Craig was drafted by the 49ers in 1983, the year I was born. Okay, so the 49ers in 83, let's look up the 1983 49ers, and then we can tell you who their running backs were. It wasn't OJ, was it? 1983
No.
49ers roster.
He had to be gone by then.
All right. 49ers running backs were Wendell Tyler. That's who it was. It was Wendell Tyler. And Roger Craig was the fullback, the rookie fullback.
Yeah, I would have never. I don't even know that person's name. I apologize to you.
No, it's all right. Niner Rick asked some really good questions tonight about the 49ers history, so I appreciate that. Guys, keep the questions coming. We're going to continue to answer them as honestly as possible. And as long as we don't offend anyone, that's what I'm hoping for. So that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. We're out of here. Brian, thanks for rocking out with you, man.
Always.
I appreciate it.
Mahalo.